what are the odds that I lose my voice on the day that I decide to make my first video? Like official first video, because there's been a lot of first videos, but someone out there is taking Humira for their rheumatoid arthritis from praying for my downfall. I feel like my journey with spirituality started with a declaration and then a better understanding of self. Um, there's this thing kind of like spirituality versus religion, and for me, it was kind of like religion felt more pointed, like guilt orientated, and spirituality to me was more like nothing that's ever happened to you has never been happened before. There's been people here going through the same thing that you're going through to this day. Someone got through it, so understand yourself and understand your resistance because you need to know your place in this world. Whereas religion was kind of like, again, in the wrong hands, sometimes people are really careless with the tools that they're given. Um, it just, with the judgment and the signs and the God hates this, plagiarism. Um, not plagiarism. False, false information, false news. Shout out to the president. I'm sorry, but my takeaway from it, because I read the Bible, my takeaway from it was don't do try not to do any of the 10 Commandments. Like, try not to break any of those. You do unto others as you'd like done unto you. Um, God made you in his image, and then when people were doing all kinds of wickedness, he eventually sent his son down to die for your sins. So you have free will. This is how I understood the story when I read it myself. I sat down with the Bible. And there's one other story that stuck with me internally, which is the Tower of Babel, which is what I realized a lot of communication errors happen. And I've always tried to be the type of person that doesn't have those type of problems. I want to clarify as much as I can. And I kind of started to see where I'd go on the negative side of energy with things when I was in a bad space, and on the positive side of energy things when I was in a good space. Like, I can communicate all day until, like, I get stubborn and feel like somebody hurt my feelings, and I'll be like, I won't talk to you. So I know that's a aspect of my personality when I've gone negative. And my spirituality kind of helped me with that. Because again, you are here. People have been here before you. They've lived life before you. Nothing's happening to you has never happened to anyone. And that kind of feels like a calming sense to my insides. Because I kind of feel like I need to know that something can be done before I can like put it in my mind and be like, oh, you could do that, because if they could do that, you could do that. So with that being said, I kind of like took all these things that people showed me as like, oh, we're all human. All I have to do is find the drive to get that done. How did I get here? We were talking about spirituality versus religion. Spirituality takes me all kinds of places. And I just have to kind of go with the flow, especially if I trust the situation. Because truthfully, what every religion has in common, even spirituality and even the people who don't have a religion, yes, atheists, you too, is that when they created you, they said let them believe. Because if they believe, then they might see. But if they see, they may never believe. When you feel something, it's like you know it's true. I tell people all the time, if you believe it, then it's true. But when you see something, you get to thinking and playing it over in your head and looking at different situations that were just like that. You don't necessarily believe it. Everybody's skeptical. How could you? We got two eyes. So, who am I going to believe? You or my lying eyes? Then on top of that, don't even get me started on what you say. Because people don't believe none of what they hear. No matter how many times you say it. They need to see proof. They need to see you putting that into a routine. They need to see consistency. Then when they see consistency, it becomes a belief. You see what I'm saying? It's odd. It's really odd. But like I said, I had to use my spirituality to come to terms with this. Because I'm sitting here in my life thinking that I have so much resistance. Why do I think that I have so much resistance when other people, like I see, are getting through their life just fine? Moral of the story is there's a prescription for Humira with my name on it because it was me. I was the one holding myself back. Truthfully. Honestly. And you kind of mess up doing your due diligence by not allowing yourself to understand your energy so you could understand how to utilize it. That's like jumping in a car reckless. Just assuming that you know how to drive. Because, oh, everybody else is living, so I could just live. Sure. But do you know thyself? You know? There's the thing. Because when you know thyself, you can say, oh man, I'm on the negative side of energy and I put me there. All those influences and everything put me there. Because that's not me. Once you define you, whenever changes come about, whenever influences come in, whenever things try to attack you, you're like, nah. And that's what my spirituality means to me.